Good morning everybody. I thought I'd give you a quick tour of the garden and what we've done. Of course we didn't plant the big trees, but all the little ones. But we'll walk around and I'm having a bit of a bad day today, so I thought I'd come out and have a bit of a walk around and try and cheer myself up a bit, because I feel a little down and under the weather, but you know, it will pass hopefully. But anyway, I'll show you around the garden, and you can see what I've been doing. We've got all the turf there, which we would like to try and burn. We're going to try and coppice the trees and use that for all the firewood. And I won't talk too much on this video, I'll just show you around. So anyway, cutting the trees, coppicing them for the firewood eventually, of course, and have them on like a rotation coppice. That's the outbuilding. We got a pig in there, and of course that's where the chickens sleep. So this is quarter of the garden, which we'll walk around now. And there's some of the little trees. They've been in 2 years. No, this is their third growing season, but they've been in 2 years. And as you can see, compared to me, they're willow. So everything is native here, apart from the big trees that were already here, which is the beech. What we're doing this year is we're leaving an edge around the garden for like bumblebees and butterflies. So we're leaving wildflowers and daisies and all of that around the outside, and then we're just cutting like a border in the middle of the middle out of the in the middle of the lawn. Well, I suppose it won't be a lawn eventually. And of course under the big trees we've that's the geese. It's much bigger under here, and of course in a way it's not wasted space, but I'll show you underneath the big trees at how much space there really is. And it's a lot of the garden under here. That's the field next door where all the sheep and the cows are. And this is one of my favourite trees over here. I'll show you it. I think it's this one here. I think it's incredible. But yeah, we'll have a walk around anyway and see the rest of the garden. We're doing a vegetable garden, and when we did the vegetable garden, we put it in the most inconvenient place. Well, it's the most convenient place, but in the worst place possible, because it's the one part of the garden that's been disturbed, and a lot of it had been sort of like the subsoil that they had dug up. There's the laburnum. It's absolutely beautiful, out in flower, and the roses are just coming out in flower. You can hardly get through. There's one of them there. They're all Rosa rugosa, so they're wild roses. Again, they're not native, but and I'll show you our house in a minute. This is the other side of the garden, and we'll have a little walk down there. It's a nightmare to cut, but we're keeping the grass cut for now. There's 1 or 2 of the trees this year need replacing. I don't really know what happened, because they were absolutely fine for the last 2 growing seasons, and now they're so this is our wild corner. Now they seem to have gone So that's all the wildflowers just left for the wildlife, really. And that's the garden up to the end of those trees there. Anyway, this is the garden, as I said, and we're getting there, and I'm proud of it in a way. And I'll be much happier when the trees have grown, because we had two much larger trees to the side of us, but unfortunately, which belonged to this house, unfortunately they were cut down the day before we moved into the house. And you know, that upset me and set me into a big depression. This side maybe is a bit more dense. It sent me into a depression because, you know, we lost the two big trees there. But anyway, it's filling in slowly, you know. And this is the other bit. That's our polytunnel. I'll show you in there another day. There's a lot to do, but I haven't been outside into the garden for the last week because I just haven't felt up to it. Hopefully in the next coming days, if I can get out of this, then I'll be back doing what I wanted to do out here and continuing the work. Francesca, my wife, she's busy keeping on top of the garden where she can, and doing the vegetables in between her work. But anyway, here we go. You'll see the full length of it is up to the trees at the end. So that's the other half, and that's our house there, which I'll show you from the outside now, and you can see it. Everything's overgrown within just a few days. That's the boys' trampoline. But so there's the house, and this is the vegetable garden, and we've got like a little courtyard there, which I'll show you, where we just hang the washing and all of that. And so we've planted the vegetables. They're still very small, but they're growing slowly but surely. We've got broccoli and cabbages there, kale and lettuce. So yeah, it's getting there, the vegetable garden, to be honest. And then we've got a little fruit orchard up here where the kids play football. This is their garden. They love it down here with under the trees. And there's another shot of the farmhouse. It's a farmhouse, but it's the size of the house that we had in French Park was a cottage, and the cottage was honestly much bigger than this house, and yet this house looks so much bigger from the outside. It's deceiving, and you know, it's much smaller. And then I planted up here, which is where the geese and that stay, a load of fruit trees. There's damsons in there and cherry trees. And then there's some crab apples that we planted just for the birds. As you can hear the birds behind me, they're actually nesting in the eaves of the house. And what I'd like to do is put like a sunroom to the front of the house. There's a pond there, but the ducks and that ruined it. So we dug that out when COVID first hit with the boys, and it had a nice edge to it, but they've exposed all the plastic. So I need to sort that and give it a really good clean. But I'd like to put a lean-to kind of sunroom there for when it's raining, And where that wooden bench is there, I'd like to smash through and make a doorway there, and just put, just small, you know. And we don't need permission to do that because you can extend the house, but it's going to only be in wood, so it's just going to be temporary, really. And there's still loads to be planted up. And I'll show you the I built a shepherd's hut out of a old cattle trailer, and we'll go in there another day and I'll put some photos and do a slideshow of that, and so you can see inside. It's actually bigger than you think in there, and it's great. And then we've just got like the little courtyard garden here, and then there's the outbuilding there and the washing. So yeah, that's the garden, the basics of it. We'll go into better detail of that when we can. As I say, when I'm feeling better, we'll go into fuller detail. Okay, thank you, and take care, everybody, and we'll speak soon. Bye.